I want to address an issue. I want to thank the president and the vice president. They are the ones that have been pushing to open up the economy. The governors have shut down the economy, not the president. The governors have put people out of work, not the president. The governors have shut businesses, not the president, and several of them are dragging their feet. And you can see it's the president a month ago and now trying to press to open up the economy. I just wanted to point something out. These states do not have plenary police power when they affect interstate commerce. $2.2 trillion in federal spending to deal with what they've done. 22 million people filing for unemployment compensation. This has a national interstate effect. The debate about federalism was a fake debate. I've given this a lot of thought. This has nothing to do with federalism. The president has more power to order governors, if he chooses, to open up their economies than people think. States have the power to regulate commerce within their boundaries. But the Congress, under the federal Constitution, is the only body that has the power to regulate interstate commerce. Governors, through their dictates and their fiats of what's essential and not essential, shutting down businesses, that's the ultimate regulation. If it affects interstate commerce in a very negative way, the president can, in fact, enforce the interstate commerce clause of the Constitution, where governors do not have the power to control interstate commerce. The state's police powers do not extend to interfering with interstate commerce. The clause was explicitly put in the federal Constitution to promote commerce, nationwide. It was put in there by the framers, not me. It follows that when a governor, by unilateral action, I don't even know where they get the power from in some of these states, but by unilateral action, orders businesses closed that affect, particularly in a negative way, interstate commerce, it is the governor that may be violating the federal Constitution. And of course, it's the president's job as the head of the executive branch, with his Justice Department and so forth, to protect the Constitution. So it's absurd to say the president has no power. It's not a federalism issue. It's an interstate commerce issue. I'll give you an example. If the governor of Kansas decided to close all the wheat farms in Kansas, or to prevent those farmers from exporting wheat to other states for any reason, including a virus, that's not constitutional. Why? Because of its impact on interstate commerce. 22 million people unemployed. It's actually more. Those are the ones that have signed up for unemployment in 30 days. Trillions of dollars more in debt by the federal government. You can't tell me that this is a state-only issue. This is an interstate commerce issue. And I'll back it up even further. These governors don't believe in federalism. They hear Cuomo talk about federalism. If he believed in federalism, there'd be no New Deal, for God's sakes. It's the Supreme Court and FDR and the New Deal that even expanded the idea of interstate commerce. Again, going to the president's powers. In 1937, I know, this isn't hot stuff, but stick with me. In 1937, in the NLRB decision, what did the court say? Intrastate activities, activities in the state, not interstate commerce, that have such a close and substantial relation to interstate commerce that their control is essential or appropriate to protect the commerce from burdens and obstructions are within Congress's power to regulate. So if a state, even within the state, commerce is regulated in a way that it harms or affects interstate commerce, only Congress has the power to regulate that, according to the Supreme Court in 1937, the New Dealers and FDR. I'm not saying the president's regulating it. I'm saying the president, as the head of the executive, has the power to enforce that. The Big Daddy decision was in 1942, Wickard versus Filburn. You know what they said there? It was such an outrageous decision. A farmer grew wheat on his own farm, consumed it on his own farm. It never touched interstate commerce. And here's what the court said. That still can be regulated by Congress because, quote, this is important, the stimulation of commerce is a use of the regulatory function quite as definitely as prohibitions or restrictions thereon. In other words, Congress has the power to stimulate commerce, and therefore, if actions are taken in a state that prevent the stimulation of commerce, well, Congress can regulate it. So what I'm saying here is the President of the United States, as the head of the executive branch, certainly has tools and powers. This isn't a federalism argument. And then finally, Sean, if I may, federalism.
Quickly.
These governors are a little confused. They think federalism means they have all the power and no accountability, that they can make whatever decisions they want and the rest of us have to pay for it. That's one-way federalism. No such thing exists. That's it.